Today we get to our module number one of hidden wealth, public laws, a blueprint for fair tax systems. We are on module one, and as we can see on our second slide, the issues of just tax justice. We are looking at issues of accountability, efficiency, fairness, and transparency in the tax system. So we begin by looking at the origin of tax justice. And as we all know that the issues of taxation begin from the issues of demand and supply. From your economics, you may have heard about demand and supply, what we commonly call as the price mechanism or the market mechanism. It is a dynamic representation showing the constant interaction between two players in the society, that is the consumer as well as the producer, with conflicting objectives. So the consumer will seek to maximize utility by pushing prices down, while the producer will aim to maximize profits by pushing prices up. So in that case, the only point of convergence becomes the price itself, though even the price itself has some contention. This brings about what we call a consumer producer tug of war. So the tug of war between consumers and producers has significant results depending on who insists on their side. If producers insist on high prices, consumers will respond. How will they respond? They'll reduce their demand. So this means there's going to be excess stock that forces the producers to lower prices, at least to clear the inventories. Conversely, if consumers demand excessively low prices, producers will be demotivated, and this will lead to reduced production and artificial scarcity. So this scarcity in supply causes consumers to bid up prices to encourage supply. The cycle will continue until that point where we are going to have a handshake, what I call as the handshake price. Normally, we have market failures, which normally lead to what we call government intervention. So, market forces, as we all know, they are always not stable. So, if either side, that is the consumer or the producer, exerts too much influence, market distortion will always arise. And this will lead to market failures such as monopolies, price manipulations, resource misallocation, among other distortions in the market. To prevent such inconveniences and inefficiencies, governments will always come in to intervene through regulation or controls. One common approach is usually through the price controls, where governments set up minimum and maximum prices, at least to protect the consumers and producers from manipulation and exploitation. In a similar way, governments will regulate competition among producers to prevent market dominance and ensure good trade practices. Another critical point of government intervention comes when we are addressing externalities. And externalities are third party unintended effect of production and consumption. So negative externalities, those that bring harm, unintended harm to the society, such as environmental pollution, impose costs on society that are not reflected in market prices. So to mitigate such effects, governments impose taxes on harmful activities. Let's take, for example, a company that normally discharges toxic waste into a river, which may cause health issues for communities that live downstream. In this case, a government may impose a tax on such pollution, which will eventually help in funding healthcare for the affected individuals or communities and thereby restoring social balance. Conversely, governments also use incentives to encourage positive externalities, rewarding those activities that promote social welfare, such as those investing in renewable energy or education. But there was an evolution of what I term as bad manners. Taxation in itself is not bad. At its core, taxation is meant to serve a fundamental purpose, that is, improving societal welfare. So, governments will usually come up with tax policies and legal frameworks to ensure that this goal is met. However, over time, we have seen circumstances of bad manners, such as corruption and inefficiencies, which have eroded the integrity of these systems. Institutions that we have entrusted with enforcing tax laws sometimes manipulate them either for personal purposes, political purposes, or any other purpose, and this leads to unjust taxation practices. This abuse of power has given rise to social accountability groups and governance watchdogs which advocate for fairness in taxation, what we now call the tax justice. So we had the evolution of the tax justice movement. The formal tax justice movement actually began in early 2000s. To be precise, in March 2003, the Tax Justice Network was officially launched in the United Kingdom. This network brought together researchers and activists concerned about tax avoidance, tax competition, and tax havens. This coalition aim to address the systematic issues undermining equitable taxation and social welfare. Tax justice movements do not oppose taxation itself. Rather, they demand that tax burdens be distributed equitably and transparently, ensuring that revenues are used for the collective good. Their advocacy is normally rooted in the principle that taxation should not be an of oppression, but a tool for fostering social welfare. In essence, taxation is essential for a well-functioning society, but it must be just, fair, and accountable. And so, what do I say? Pay your taxes. They play a crucial role in safeguarding your welfare. But as you pay your taxes, remember to demand transparency and fairness, because tax justice is about ensuring that everyone contributes their fair share and that public resources serve the common good. So, pay your taxes and demand justice with your taxes. Okay, that's the end of our today. Next, join me in diving into the historical context of the evolution of tax systems across the world. Thank you.